And famously, Ryan Williams flipped from Auburn to Alabama. So I just made a little joke about it. So they wrote back about how he's gay. Like, they think he's gay because he paints his fingernails and he does, TikTok dances. Dude, I swear to God, he could come in here and suck in front of me. If he's putting up those numbers, I do not care. He can have sex with RJ right there, and I will let it happen as long as he keeps scoring touchdowns.
I like how you didn't sacrifice yourself. You're like,
I can't do it.
I'll sacrifice the most important thing to me. RJ Ham over here.
RJ's anal virginity means nothing to me. Do you do all your editing on your podcast?
Bro, the podcast's a nightmare.
Oh, really?
It's like, no, I have a producer. He's fucking great. But, dude, I get why you would, like, make a big deal out of 15 minutes not knowing that. Because the thing is, I have so many people with just, like, stand-up that I work with that are late for fucking everything we do.
Yeah.
And so there's one guy that I work with, this, like, video dude. And we're working an event. And I'm like, all right, we all got to be there at 1. He shows up at like 1:45, and I'm like, all right, well, we're working again tomorrow. The next day he shows up a half hour late. I'm like, we're setting a standard that you're going to be 15 minutes early to everything we do from now on, because I can't have this. Like, it's so fucking crazy, because like with comics it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Like for shows, people show up late all the time.
Yeah.
It seems different in Alabama. It was very nice at the beginning of the show to have everybody there on time, but like, whatever. I'm no angel.
I was actually like, I'm usually, the 15, 30 minutes early guy. I showed up right at 8. Yeah. But I had to, one, find parking because Tuscaloosa was a fucking madhouse. And two, I had to eat my chicken nuggets in the car before I came in.
Yeah, dude.
Get a little carbo load.
Yeah,
it was a fun show.
Right now, what Kyle's figured out with me is that I am that chronically late guy, no matter what.
Yeah.
Kyle just lies to me and tell me whatever we're doing is an hour earlier than what it actually is.
That's pretty much what you have to. Well, RJ don't understand is like there's certain things where. Okay, it's okay. It's more casual, but like things that have hard times, like flights, you need to be on time for.
Yeah,
because they will not wait for you.
Is that why you couldn't make the show, dude?
No. He's gonna tell you another story.
Oh no! So
I thought we were going over the hurricane. To my understanding, that's how planes worked. But apparently, there was several planes that were landing specifically in Hartsfield in Atlanta that got delayed, and I would have landed in Birmingham at like 6:30, 6:45. But I might have been late driving to the show because of the Alabama-Georgia game. And then if I made it on time, I would have been like all exasperated.
I knew it was. As soon as you told me the flight was that day, I was like, there's no chance.
Yeah. And
no
they usually don't
fucking
get
chance
delayed.
he makes it.
And dude, I had to find my way back to Manhattan from JFK and just had no idea.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, I had to like take 2 trains from like Jamaica to the one that goes like into Queens and Brooklyn, and then like call the lady that I was staying with and be like, hey, how do I get back to your apartment? And she just laughed. She was like, did you miss your flight? I was like, actually no. Actually, I made it on time.
The first time we went to New York together, I'm like the 2 hour early to the airport guy.
Yeah.
But RJ is not. I didn't know that about him. I just thought he was running late. No big deal. But he gets there, man. He's frantic. I mean, he's in his car in my driveway. I don't think he's even packed his suitcase yet. All of his clothes are just in his car, and so shit's flying around. He's getting ready. My wife's over there trying to help him like get packed and stuff. We get in. My wife drives us to the airport. I go through TSA pre-check. RJ's going through general, and then so like I think I'm already through the metal detector and everything.
And the last genius thing Megan said to me as I was getting out of your truck was, RJ, why don't you leave your car keys here?
Yeah, just leave those here. So like I'm like through security, and I hear him yell from across the airport, call your wife! And I was like, oh shit, what did he do? So I like rush back over there to him, and he's like, man, I left my cell phone in the truck. So, okay, we call the wife. We're getting pretty close to like boarding time.
She's like, it's not in the truck. He's an idiot.
She's not. Yeah, and so like just not in the truck. So we just have to get on the plane. And RJ had left his cell phone in his car, and we went to New York for the weekend. RJ, no cell phone.
Wow.
No cell phone.
Was it nice? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I forgot what not having depression was like, and that was sick.
How long were we there? 3 days?
Three nights, 4 days.
So we had my wife overnight the phone, but it still didn't get there till the last day.
Yeah, there's no such thing as overnighting, dude.
It's so bad. Well, what would have been hilarious if it would have showed up the day after that we already left.
Weekend.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, the funniest thing that could possibly happen is like we have to go to our flight, and then we get a call from the Lexington hotel that's like, hey, we have a UPS parcel for Robert Marchand in here.
That's funny. That's the trip though, where we got to perform with Jerry. It was so funny. I'll tell the story for the pod. Is we did a show in Tuscaloosa together this past weekend, and it was your dad, I think, right? Y'all come up to me after. He's like, "You're really open for Jerry Seinfeld?" I'm like, "No, that's not technically what happened." But we were on the show. I like those showcase style shows where you have a bunch of killers, like 10 comics doing 10 minutes, and it was one of those type shows. And then I can't remember the order. Did you directly follow, or were you directly before Jerry Seinfeld when he popped in?
Yeah, we were both before him. It was you, me, then him.
Yeah. So technically we opened for him, but
wow.
Dude, him walking in, I always compare it to like, people are like, oh, Jerry Seinfeld's comedy's really not that funny. And, I get it. Like, I'm not going to go watch a Jerry Seinfeld special. I love Seinfeld, the show. And, but dude, he comes in there and it's like the people who say, oh, LeBron's not that good. And then you see him in an open gym just fucking dunking on everybody. That's what it was like. I mean, just crisp. Just rattled off 30 minutes, did a Q&A afterwards. It was really cool.
Sick.
Yeah. So you say you do some in New York too, right?
I get down there as much as I can. I'm from Connecticut, so I'm from like 2.5 hours away.
What's your spots up there?
Dude, I literally wherever they let me go up.
Oh yeah,
it's so hard. New York is a challenge, man.
Dude, New York's great though, man. That's where I would move. Like,
I have a blast every time I go. It's just like it's twice as hard as Austin. Yeah, and it's twice as expensive.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, ask you is what are the differences there in Austin, even in like comedy style?
Well, dude, I'm just in Austin, which is good. So I get spots every weekend, and I'm up basically 7 nights a week. If I want to be, I can find a way to get on every day. Yeah. So it's like if I had a Saturday where there was no bookings, I could weasel my way into something.
Oh yeah.
So I can get up almost every day that I want to get up, and in New York that's just not the case.
Yeah.
In New York it's like, all right, well, I could do some dog shit open mic.
Yeah, you can grind the mics, but
dude, it's fun to come to other places and just see what's going on, because like both Alabama shows, RJ has had to be my therapist.
Legit. I'm bad at a lot of things. It's one of the few things I'm good at.
Dude, he had to talk me off the ledge on show 1, and then on this one, I was like, oh, everything's like. There were a couple bad actors that were in the first one. Should we just tell that? I think we should tell that story.
Yeah, you're fine. Go for it.
Pretty fucking crazy. Okay, so I had met RJ and couple other like Alabama guys basically just through Austin comedy. So we were at the Creek, we're talking, and I'm like, dude, I really want to get involved in, like my parents are buying a house in Tuscaloosa. I want to go down there more. I want to do more spots there. And so we have this idea to do like a one-nighter at Black Warrior. And so he connects me with a couple people, and the guy just was kind of a little slow. We can blur it out. It was And so it's just like, yeah, man, I'll get around to making the flyer. There's nothing that I fucking hate more than when you're asking somebody like, hey, can I I need a flyer. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll get to work on the flyer pretty soon. Like, yeah, pretty soon we'll begin the workings. You ask them like they're digging like the Lincoln Tunnel. It's fucking crazy. It's a 45-minute project. And if they were just honest and they were like, okay, hey, it's going to take me 5 weeks to make this, I would be like, well, I'm just going to fucking queue up Photoshop and get this bullshit done. So he's taking forever. I'm getting really frustrated. And like eventually he just gives up on this project and he hands it off to this other kid who's like a junior at the University of Alabama.
And he had some he was controlling pull with that. Yeah. And he was less involved in he would do the open mics and stuff, but he wanted to produce shows, which is always a bad sign when you're in comedy. Someone's like, I'm into comedy to produce shows, not perform on them. I'm like, oh, this is like the worst person.
This is another name we'll have to edit out, but that's like in New York.
Dex is a sweet kid,
you know him.
and
he didn't seem like a sweet kid to me.
Well, he was like in business mode with you. He'll text me out of the blue every now and then and be like, "Hey, I saw you did X, Y, and Z. Congratulations, whatever." He'll do that, and there are people in Tuscaloosa that have known me for years that wouldn't do that if their life depended on it. You know.
So this is my relationship with.
He was in business mode with you,
which was truly insane.
Yeah.
So the guy that gets forwarded to, he makes the flyer immediately. I'm like, this guy's on the ball. I text him. I go, all right, it looks like we can get max 50 people up there. How do we hit that number? He goes, well, I got an Eventbrite page set up for you. I'm like, great. He goes, actually, I have connections to the University of and we got a bunch of fraternity brothers in there. He goes, we're going to hit 50. No problem. I go, what do you need from me? He goes, not much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just you do your thing. I'll do mine. And we'll sell it out. So I'm texting him a little bit. He's like, everything's great. I get there. It's the day before the show. Me and my mom just happened to be out to lunch at a bar that's next door to Black Warrior. And I go, why don't we go over there and just see how the flyers and everything look up on the wall? I walk into the bar. No flyers. There's no flyers. There's no mention of an event. Even on a chalkboard, which is the easiest thing to update on Friday, it just says check the social media. The social media doesn't have any link to the show. So there's no awareness with the people that something's really going on. Like the bar owner is aware that it's happening. But like the bar managers and the people working, no fucking clue that this is happening. Yeah. I text him. I go, what do we have for ticket sales? He goes 3. I know that my mom, my cousin, and my other cousin had bought tickets.
Yeah.
So those are the 3. I bug out. I'm like, dude, what do you mean you told me you hung up all this stuff? He's like, I didn't tell you anything. You're making all these assumptions. So I cut him out of the fucking thing. I end up doing a free show. Me and RJ went into complete hustle mode. We're running around all day. We're hanging up flyers. I'm calling RJ basically like crying. Like, I don't know. I'm going to fucking do this. So we get all the flyers up. We barked people in for the whole day. We end up getting like the same number of people that we had this time in there. Ton of work. Hard nose. $150 in the tip jar. It all goes back to the cost that we had like just getting here. And then it's a break-even experience. So for this one, I'm like, we're all good. Yeah. You know, everything's going to be totally fine. You're going to have to blur so much out of this shit out of this. But basically, on this one, again, it's just like, okay, flyer. They're like, this one won't print. We'll make another one. And then they just don't do it. And so I'm calling RJ. I'm like, I can't get, nobody's texting me back. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This is crazy. And like through a mix of like me and them, it again came down to the situation where it was, we're in the last minute. I'm fucking calling them on the drive over 2 days out being like, can we make sure that the flyers are on the wall, please? Can we please make sure that they're on the wall? Do we have this going on? How are we going to get people up there? So like that show was like a mix of, the college kids were very nice to bring a couple of their friends. My family came, ran an Instagram ad that I think was responsible for like 20 of the people being in there. Yeah. And then we made $65 in the tip jar.
Yeah, we got you, bro. Next time, and you can ask him, Brown's Corner. That's the spot. Probably holds, when we did it, it was more of like dinner table setup. Kind of like, I mean, it looks like a comedy club when you go up there too. Like a very New York style comedy club.
Let's go.
It's probably 80 seats, the normal way it's set up, because they have couches in the front of the stage and then it's like dinner tables throughout. If you did stadium style seating, you probably do 125. They advertise on social media. You don't have to ask them. Flyers, I always use a guy. Do you know a guy named Adam Dominguez out of Las Vegas? Pretty up and coming comic. Dude, I reach out for him. He did my EPK, $100 flat fee. Looks great. And then anytime I need a flyer, I send it to him. He does it for like $15 and gets it back to you in like 20 minutes. And they look fantastic.
Dude, hell yeah.
So I'm an outsourcer. You know,
I love the outsourcing, and I need to get more into it too, because I'm always like, I've just gotten so frustrated from being in stand-up for so long of just you asking people to do shit and them taking forever. So I'm like, I'm my guy for everything. Yeah. I'm my video editing guy. I am my social media guy. And it's like eventually you'll just burn yourself out, or you'll just get so wrapped up in the business mindset that you just become that guy.
My favorite thing to do whenever anyone's coming from out of state and calling me like Joe did, just asking for advice about how the locals are. I'll be like, do you know how you're used to waiting a certain amount of time to ask comedians to do stuff? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, now that you're in Alabama, expect to wait 4 times as long as that. Everyone's going to be really slow. Everyone's not going to mean that anything wrong by being really slow, but understand that these people are sweet and simple, and they're used to time crawling. No matter
the advice
what.
that you gave me was, I'm bugging out. I had a guy that emailed me his phone number and was like, you can call me anytime to get a hold of me for this show, and then just doesn't reply to my text for like 3 days. 3 of the 5 days leading up to the show. I call RJ and I'm bugging. RJ goes, look, these are simple people. Their thoughts control their minds. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
What did you say? They are their thoughts?
Oh, they can't remove their thoughts from their feelings. They're one and the same, no matter what. They act on the first thing that comes in their head, no matter what. That's what they do.
We're at the Alabama game this weekend. You were witness to one of the greatest performances by not just a freshman, a 17-year-old in
Crazy.
Ryan Williams. We're in a fantasy football league together. We have a group chat. 2 of the fans are Auburn fans. And famously, Ryan Williams flipped from Auburn to Alabama. So I just made a little joke about it. So they wrote back about how he's gay, like they think he's gay because he paints his fingernails and he does, TikTok
Who gives a
dances.
fuck?
Dude, I swear to God, he could come in here and suck cock in front of me. If he's putting up those numbers, I do not care. He can have anal sex with RJ right there, and I will let it happen as long as he keeps scoring touchdowns.
I like how you didn't sacrifice yourself. You're like,
I can't do it.
I'll sacrifice the most important thing to me. RJ Ham over here.
RJ's anal virginity means nothing to me.
I mean, dude, that play was so sick, and it was also like, it happened so fast that it was almost a problem. Because, like, we were down 1.
Yep.
See, like, obviously you want to get the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. But fucking, like, there was 5 minutes left on the clock?
Yeah.
Or 3 minutes left on the clock? So you gave them time to go down and score.
I was so nervous.
Terrifying.
Was that your second in-person Bama game?
Yeah.
So what's the relationship with you and Bama? Your mom lives in Alabama?
Parents went to school there, and then my mom's from Montgomery.
What was the other game you went to?
Texas last season.
Oh, okay. So you picked a good one, man.
Yeah.
2 big games. Unfortunately, Bama lost that.
I get my
Texas
pick of the litter every season, so I get to pick which
awesome.
one I want to go to, and I'm like, all right, this is easy pick.
It's not a very good barometer for like what Alabama games actually are. That's like the ESPN game day Alabama game of the season to go to. Definitely go to like one that's like against a team you think we're going to blow out, but we end up going into like quadruple overtime with, like Arkansas or something like that. I have ideas, but they're always impossible to pull off. And I was telling Kyle this on the way over here, and he was like, yeah, that's hilarious, but you can't do that. I want to follow Trump around just wherever he goes, like Tuscaloosa, for example, in this weekend, and just like pretend to be Secret Service agents and like a group of Secret Service agents, and just be like shithoused at noon, just like in front of everybody. like no one needs to be pregnant in the group, but that would be a plus if one of the Secret Service agents were pregnant, and so, just like drunk, like getting walkie-talkie calls, like tell 45 we'll be there.
one of them needs to be in the leg scooters. You know what I'm talking about? And, you see like middle-aged people tear their ACL, and they're one person in the full Secret Service suit just scootering it. That would be hilarious. Dude, I think you'll get in trouble for that.
It's a funny bit, but you 100% would have got arrested.
Yeah.
You 100% would have went to jail on Saturday, because the vibe around there from the Secret Service was like, we fucked this up so bad last time, we're not doing it again. Like, all the sororities behind campus, we were kind of looking out. It was really funny because all the fraternities were wide open.
Yeah.
Ripping.
Yeah.
Going fucking nuts. And then all the fraternities were like, all the sororities were just evacuated, empty. And that was the route they took them in. So they kept like doing these like red herrings where they would say like, they had everybody lined up outside and they were like, he's about to come in this way. So all these people are outside watching. They're like, oh, Trump's coming. It's going to be so great. Can't wait. Oh my God, I can't wait to see Trump. And then I fell for it too. He just never showed up.
He never showed
I think
up.
they'd already walked him into the building.
Yeah.
So they were trying to like, I don't know. I think they were trying to make sure
Divert
that
people.
Yeah, people never knew where he was coming because they had a road blocked off as if he was going to drive and nobody drove in.
Did you see when he went to the concession stand? Did you see the video of that?
Yeah.
He's just throwing like Cracker Jacks into the fucking crowd. It's so great, man. He is by far the funniest political figure we've ever had.
It's crazy.
You can keep tabs on it in southern states because like the social media game is flipped. So like instead of Instagram being popular here like it is everywhere else in America, it's Facebook that still has some track. And I follow like local news pages on Facebook in Tuscaloosa, and all of their titles are like, errors in grammar or syntax in some kind of way. I think the one I followed on this picture that I saw of Trump was called "Where the News Matter." That's just what it's called. And there was a picture of a sniper on a roof. It got shared on this event page, this news page, and it was a picture of a sniper on the roof during the football game. And it just had like the prayer emoji, hands going up. It said, "Thank God they're protecting our man. Praise Jesus." And it's just like a bunch of people throwing up amens underneath it. And then like the most liked comment underneath it is the only one without grammar errors. And it just says, "There's snipers at every football game."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, dot. 150 likes on that one
There
comment.
are snipers at every football game?
Yeah, there has to be, because head football coaches get like a lot of death threats, and more than you would think. And then like certain football players, depending on what they do in the game or what happens, they have to give them some sort of like personal security and cybersecurity detail, especially for field goal kickers.
Which athlete all time do you think's gotten the most death threats? It's got to be Johnny Manziel, right?
Any kicker that's ever missed a game.
That's
for
true.
Sure.
Cade Foster. I don't know if you were a Bama fan back then. We had a kicker.
Which year was this?
This would have been like 20. It was the year we lost to Auburn on the kick six.
Oh, dude, yeah, I was in China that year.
Oh, really?
So I watched that on like a little like shitty stream thing.
Dude, well, he was like, we were doing this weird thing where we had a short range field goal kicker and then a long range field goal kicker. Mm-hmm. And he would miss. I mean, his percentage had to been like 20%. And we roll him out there to kick like a 59-yarder to win the game. And, dude, they take it to the house. He had to have – the kicker is a great answer, actually.
Well, dude, until we got Reichert, it was just – it felt like we had – Reichert was the first, like, great kicker we've had forever.
Well, one of the fun things to always do as a Bama fan, it's from like 2017 on, is to try to make an all-Alabama NFL team. And you can do it pretty easily, but always the position you never had was kicker.
Now you got it.
Now you got it. You had to have J.K. Scott out there kicking field goals. But I think, who would you go with? Who would be in it? Just based off NFL, what would be your start and skill positions for an Alabama?
Dude, so you know what's kind of crazy? Like, let's go to skill position in a second. If you look at like. I was down in front of Denny Chimes and like looking at the handprints.
Yeah.
And like the 2018 and 2020 teams were obviously both so nasty, but the 2020 captains was it was Landon Dickerson, Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Mac Jones, who like obviously hasn't panned out that well in the NFL. People forget he was like disgusting at Alabama.
He very easily could have won the Heisman.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
they
so
could have
good that year.
Yeah.
But then fucking Devontae Smith. But then the other captain was Leatherwood.
Yeah.
And people forget, like, the year in 2020 when they won the Natty, like, Leatherwood is the second guy with his hands on the trophy after Mac Jones.
Yeah.
They're like, that's, like, the heart and soul of this team. And so I started looking at it, and I'm like, dude, he flamed out of the NFL already. He's already gone. Mm-hmm. He went in, he was so good, and then he got cut as the number 15 overall pick.
Yeah.
And he's out of there. But, dude, I mean... For skill positions, I think it's pretty easy. Like that. Actually, it's not easy because for wide receiver, it's like, do you take Julio Jones, Amari Cooper? Because I think they're like the most successful in the pros.
Yeah.
But like at Alabama, while they're at Alabama, like you could almost not go against fucking Devontae Smith and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Those are like obvious picks.
Plus, like, it depends on what style offense you're running too, because you have Waddle in the slot, like
Waddle and Jerry Jeudy.
They're not, and then it's like, okay, dude. I always thought there's two different type of offenses you could run. You could be like a power running team with like big physical receivers. So your quarterback could be Jalen, your running back be Derrick Henry, and then Julio and Amari. And you're just a power running football team with play action. Or you go complete opposite. You go like the Shanahan system, and Tua is your quarterback.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs is your running back. You have Devontae, freaking Waddle. Like, there's so many.
Don't even
different
forget
ways
Mark Ingram won the first Heisman too.
Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram was nasty.
Dude, I remember because
and if we're talking at Alabama, and I'm not just saying this because he's your co-host, but fucking Trent Richardson is, while he's at Alabama,
I'll see myself out, guys.
RJ was replaced with Trent Richardson. That's what you get for moving to New York.
RJ's way cooler than he used to be. What happened?
The funniest thing from the first podcast we did with Trent and RJ.
RJ, a giant black guy.
The craziest part about it was like I'm probably like 2 inches taller than him, not to brag or anything, but when I got next to him, he was like so much wider than me. I was like, dude, this guy is built.
I didn't think he would like fit through the door.
Yeah.
Really?
And it's, he's put on a little weight obviously, but like it's still just muscle in his frame. It's like I look at him. It's like when I saw Derrick Henry in person the first time too. It's like, how does anybody tackle you?
Yeah.
But then you remember, it's 11 genetic freaks just like this guy on the other side of the ball.
That's why I can't watch football with anyone anymore, because anyone that ever like went, into the second round in 1988 on Demopolis High School's varsity team is like, you need to tackle him. I'm like, you would die if you were out there. You make it 2 plays in and you'd be like, please take me out. Please let me go.
One of the funniest things, there's a lot of funny from that first episode with Trent. We actually had some clips do pretty well. He did a Saban impression. It was fantastic.
Yeah, this is just the Trent recap show now.
The thing that cracked me up the most was RJ looked at him. He's like, why do you think I didn't make it to the NFL? and Trent's like, yeah, you could have as a kicker. Yeah, it was a fun episode.
Yeah.
Wait, dude, yeah, there's so many guys where it's like Henry untackleable, so fucking big.
Last night, he ran an 86-yard touchdown. Derrick Henry now has the longest play in the Titans franchise history and the longest play from scrimmage in the Ravens franchise history. I mean, I always ask this because I don't think there's many surefire Hall of Famers from the Saban era in the NFL. Julio's a definite Hall of Famer. I don't know that there's another one. Maybe Quinnen Williams gets there, but I think Derrick Henry is now firmly, like, he's a Hall of Famer.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
I think so.
For sure, without a doubt.
Even without the Super Bowls, like, I think that he might get one this year. Honestly, the Ravens, they started slow record-wise, but once they figure that
Bills
out,
last night is pretty sick.
Yeah, because the Bills have like boat raced everybody, and dude, from the opening bell, the Ravens just came out, and you could tell with the tone of that game, and also like the Ravens got to be a top 5 uniform of all time, right? If you take in all their combinations, that black and purple is so dope.
Yeah, they're the Oregon of the NFL for sure.
Yeah. I like a good classic uniform too. I'm a Dolphins fan, and the Dolphins throwback jerseys to me are the best uniforms in the NFL.
What's up with the Dolphins this year, in your opinion?
Well,
don't get them started. Who loves the Dolphins?
Here we go. We're gonna have to change SD cards. Well, that first game where Tua was healthy, it was just like everything we did last year that was successful. Those down the field, in breaking routes, 15 to 20 yard routes, we just didn't run. Everything was like screen passes to the perimeter. It was almost like we were trying to set something up and debate them, and we just never got there. So play calling's definitely been weird. And now that Tua's out, it's like there's maybe 5 to 6 quarterbacks who can efficiently run that offense like Tua can. And now we got Tyler Huntley coming in, who's a completely different type of quarterback, but you can at least with him adjust the offense and run, RPOs. I mean, if you have a Lamar Jackson type talent as far as a runner at quarterback in Achane, and you put Tyreek Hill in motion, and you don't know which one of those 3 are getting the balls, you should be able to get 4 yards of carry.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. I mean, the next 3 games, because Tua's going to be out the next 3 games. The next 3 games are tonight against the Titans, trash. Next week against the Patriots, trash. And then on off week, and then the Colts. I think those are 3 winnable games, even without Tua. That puts you at 4-2, and then hopefully Tua comes back.
With the level of fanaticism you talk about the Miami Dolphins, people would think you're the offensive coordinator.
I should be the offensive coordinator. I wouldn't know another damn screen pass. The only time I've seen screen passes consistently work is when Lane Kiffin had Amari Cooper at Alabama that year that Amari should have won the Heisman. I mean, they were just throwing screen passes.
What year was that? Was that like 2015?
I want to say that was 14. Yeah, because Henry's big year was 15. And Lane was the offensive coordinator for both of them. Because that was the thing with Lane. If Lane had a workhorse, whether it was receiver, running back, he's just feeding that person the whole time. And what's crazy is Blake Sims was Amari's quarterback that year. I don't know who won the Heisman that year. The year before Henry.
Dude, yeah, I remember like watching a couple of those games and being like, damn, dude, this is like, because it was like AJ McCarron and McElroy felt like carbon copies of each other.
Yeah.
It was like we had the same quarterback back-to-back years.
No.
Because that was before shit really got going.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, well, we have like, we're stacked at running back. And we got like one or two good wideouts, and like, but the quarterback, it's just some guy that's gonna flame out in the NFL, and then all of a sudden it just went blah 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 blah. Like,
yeah, it's
it just
insane.
went fucking crazy.
Jake, people forget.
Yeah, right. Well, right now after I did that Dolphins thing, I keep having like visions of scenes that we can't do, kind of like the Trump Secret Service thing. Mm-hmm. I want Kyle to get in trouble at a grocery store for like cutting all of the plastic coverings for like the 6-pack and 12-pack of sodas, and then when I go in there to make sure they don't like take him into jail or whatever, I'm like, why'd you do that? He's like, the Dolphins got to win this year. We got to take it to the Super Bowl.
Yo, to go on a total tangent here though, what the fuck is up with the plastic down here just in like
we
Alabama?
Love it. Yeah, we love it.
So we went to the grocery store because my aunt likes to carry around the 7-Up minis in her purse to make a mixer. All right, so went to the grocery store to get 2 6-packs of the 7-Up minis and a handle of orange juice. Right, two things that can
kind of a telling thing that you called that amount of orange juice a handle. You know,
well, the one with handles on it. Yeah. Now, I'm walking out and like, how many plastic bags do you think the person bagging that at Piggly Wiggly should give you to carry that amount of product home?
Not many, like 14, something like that.
Yeah. The correct answer was the amount that she tried to give us was 5, which is...
That's a low number, dude.
Dude, so if you're asking how does the... Well, the reason I call it a handle of orange juice is because it has a fucking handle on it. What do you use a handle for? Kyle, what's a handle for?
To hold.
To hold! You use the handle to hold the orange juice. You don't need a bag for it.
Why did I get nervous answering that question?
Dude, and so the
He's
rings...
doing CrossFit at this time, dude.
They
He's
fucking...
testosterone.
They take the two things of the 7-Up and they put them in a plastic bag. And
Did
then
they
put
double
it
bag?
in a bag, and then they went to get a third one. And then they put the third one around it. And then she took the handle of orange juice and started to put it in the bag. And I went, no, it's okay. I can carry it. And she had this plastic bag in her hand. And the look on her face, you could tell no one had ever told you, no, I don't need that plastic bag. Because it's like, this is the fucking thing about just America in general, is we don't like to be told you've had too much. Yeah. We don't like to be told like, hey, you need to limit yourself in any capacity.
Yeah.
It's like... Dude, I totally understand being conservative. I'm into it. But the one thing that drives me crazy is like being told to limit yourself in any capacity.
Yeah.
Just being told, hey, rather than 5 plastic bags, let's go with 1. Can we do 1? Is 1 enough to get the shit? No, I can't do that. Well, how the fuck am I going to get my orange? Use the goddamn handle. Use the fucking handle that's on the orange. It made me... mental. And then I screamed about it in the car for 3 minutes. My dad's like, you're out of your mind. He's like, you're fucking...
I'm going to send you back to Connecticut. That's what we're about to do.
The question is, do you double bag?
No, dude, I try. I do now because I get my groceries delivered.
Oh.
Dude, fuck
I meant it sexually. Do you double bag it?
I don't bag at all.
You don't bag at all?
No.
I could never go back. I couldn't do it. Dude, I did a story about... This is a true story. It's one of my bits. I had a guy in high school tell me like always wear a Magnum because it doesn't matter, like, because the girl I was going to have sex with was a virgin also, so he's like, she has nothing to compare it to. She's just gonna, everybody's like, oh yeah, Kyle wears a Magnum, and it's like, it doesn't matter, it'll fit because it just rolls down, you know, like you don't have to roll it all the way out, like your dick will fit in it. What they don't tell you is like, you have to zip tie that motherfucker at the bottom because it's big enough to fit over a baseball bat.
It's big enough to fit Trent Richardson.
Oh my god!
You think if you bought some condoms from that lady, she would only wrap it up one time? You think she would know?
Oh, she's a double bagger. Yeah. She's a double bagger for sure.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that same time I was going to have sex for the first time, I tried to steal condoms from the gas station because I was too embarrassed to buy them. So I'm walking in, I'm all like inconspicuous. Oh, da, da, da. I was like, all right, I got to buy something. And I get a Mountain Dew, I take it up there, and the guy's like, "What about the condoms in your pocket?" And I was like,
"Oh no,
fuck!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my bad, I forgot about that."
Was that an Indian or an Irish accent?
I don't know. That was actually a redheaded black woman. Yeah,
love that.
Little Blake Griffin action. It's always good.
Oh, I had a question. I can't remember what it is.
Dude, well, the other thing about the Trojan Magnums is they're thick too.
Oh yeah,
they're designed to like prevent breakage. So it's really like it's like wearing a wetsuit.
Yeah,
and like there is no feeling at all.
I think the thing I have least sympathy about is when a guy's like, "Yeah, man, I got her pregnant. I just couldn't pull out." I'm like, dude, it's pretty easy. Like I have like a 10-second, pretty reliant 10-second timer, you know. That excuse, my stepbrother, he's got like 10 kids with 8 different women. He's like, I just can't stop coming in them. I'm like, okay, man, do your thing.
Damn, dude,
it's insane.
You think you'd learn after your wages start getting garnished? You think you'd learn? Like,
dude, my poor buddy, he had one kid and he was married and they got divorced. He pays $830 a month in child support for one kid.
How much does your stepbrother pay?
My stepbrother is a piece of shit, so he don't pay anything. He just like
sounds like he has some stuff figured out.
He just lets it ride. He legitimately
the
has,
one child support hack they don't want you to know.
Yeah, just don't pay it. So my uncle, he lived in the house I live in now. We redid my grandparents' house, and my uncle, he never really got out and did anything. But he passed away a few years ago from pancreatic cancer, but we still get his mail. And he got a child support like notice about how much he owes, and he owed like, I think it was like $78,000 in child support that he had never paid for 18 years, and it was like interest accumulated on it. But he's fine now.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
dude, he's probably like, Lord, take me away.
Lord, just take me away.
Because if I owed $78,000 to a woman right now, I might just.
Do you have a woman in your life?
No,
just single life in it.
Yeah,
that's gotta be pretty great as a comic in Austin.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it gets, dude, you'd be surprised. You go on like epic cold streaks.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was about to say. It's so lonely. It's great.
Yeah, it's great too. You go to New York. It is
the loneliest fuck because everybody, you know, if you're single, you glorify what it's like to be in a relationship and backwards. But I'll tell you what's fun about it is when you go out, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a tough part of being in a relationship is like you and your boys go out to the bar. It's like, I know what's going to happen.
This ends one way.
I know. Yeah, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to go home.
Or you just be a piece of shit.
Or you cheat on your wife.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
That's
the other one is like when you're fucking single, it's like, yeah, you might score, but 90% of nights, maybe more, you're just like in your room just being like, what video am I gonna watch tonight? You're like, this is so depressing.